Hello, dear friends. I am Dr. Parveen Malek and welcome back to PM Knowledge Hub. Today, I will talk about the hypothesis. So, without wasting any more time, let's get started. We have discussed in the earlier lectures that the objectives of the research are nothing more than the subtitles of the main title. By completing the objectives one by one, ultimately the main objective of the research is achieved. The researcher has to consider the research questions or hypotheses following the objectives of the research. Hypotheses are formulated in most quantitative types of research, but research questions are settled in qualitative type and some quantitative type of research. Hypotheses or research questions guide the research process. In this lecture, we will discuss the hypothesis. We begin our discussion with the definitions of hypothesis. The definition given by John T. Townsend: hypothesis is a suggested answer to the problem under investigation, where he focuses on suggested answers to the problem. It means tentative solution, not the final one. John W. Best defines hypothesis like: a hypothesis is a tentative generalization, the validity of which remains to be tested. According to his definition, his focus is on tentative generalization, which validity must be tested. That means testing of hypothesis is the following step, but base is provided on this stage. A hypothesis is a proposition which can be put to test to determine its validity. It may be proved correct or incorrect. This definition is given by Good and Het, and according to his definition, the hypothesis may be proven correct or incorrect after testing it. So, generalization depends on the acceptance or rejection of the hypothesis. F. N. Kurlinger defines hypothesis like: a hypothesis is a conjectural statement of the relation between two or more variables. Here he focuses on the relationship between two or more variables, which is a hypothetical statement only. So ultimately, we need to prove this, as this is a hypothetical statement. Based on the definitions, we can say that a hypothesis is an assumption that it's still not proven but reflect a possible solution to a problem or predicts a relationship between two or more variables. Testing proves the assumption true or false. We will not do that. Solving the problem unless the assumption is tested. 3 points are very important with respect to such assumptions. The first point is: assumptions are made on the basis of past experiences, on the basis of a prior evidence, or by thinking logically. The second assumption is: whether the assumptions are true or false is decided by testing. Third one is: testing of assumptions solves the problem or leads to the solution to the problem. The assumption that is made keeping in mind these points with the view of possible solutions of the problem is called hypothesis. By testing a hypothesis, a fact is established, or a theory, rule, or principle is formed, or a generalization is made with reference to the solution of a problem. Therefore, the hypothetical statement is not an established fact or theory, but rather a fact derived from its testing or a generalized solution. On the other hand, a hypothesis is the result of a mature and logical thinking process. Let us take an example from our practical life to understand the meaning of the hypothesis more clearly. Suppose we are watching a television program and suddenly the TV turns off. How will we react to this problem? We often start thinking about the causes of the problem, like there is an interruption in the flow of electricity, there may be a loose connection of the cable with the TV, or maybe a problem with the remote control, maybe a problem with a particular channel, or there may be a problem with the cable operator system. We will make such assumptions based on our past experiences. Now, we will examine all the possible causes of the problem. And for that, first we will check whether there is any problem in the flow of electricity or not. If the power supply is found to be fine, we will check if the cable connection is proper or not. If the cable connection is found to be okay, then we will check if the remote control is working properly or not. If the remote control works well, then we will check if other channels are working or not. If the other channels are found to be fine, we will call the cable operator to solve the problem. In this way, we will collect the evidence and analyze it logically. After examining all the proofs, we come to the conclusion about the solution of the problem. We make many assumptions in our routine life to find solutions to our daily problems. Similarly, hypotheses are formed in research, which are examined in order to arrive at definite conclusions with reference to the objectives of the research. But some specific structures are followed to formulate the hypothesis. In each research hypothesis, some assumptions is made about the relationship between two or more variables. Let us take an example of research to understand the formulation of a research hypothesis. Suppose we want to study the social adjustment of government and non-government employees, then the general hypothesis may be like the social adjustment of non-government employees is better than that of government employees. The social adjustment of government employees is better than that of non-government employees. Non-government and government employees are the same as far as their social adjustment is concerned. In this example, the estimate is made with reference to two variables. The first one is type of employer, the organization, and the social adjustment of the employees. The researcher has to collect data and test the hypothesis to come to a conclusion regarding these two variables. As discussed earlier, hypothesis is not formed by imagining baselessly. Rather, it is the result of mature, rational, and logical thinking. Such thinking, the findings of previous research and the experience of the researcher provide the basis of formulating a good hypothesis. This is all about the concept and definition of hypothesis. Now we will discuss about the characteristics of a good hypothesis in the next lecture. Thank you so much for watching my video till end.